Hey guys, it's Marmalade with Marmalade Outdoors. How's everybody doing? I hope well. All right, so here is part 2 that I was promised. 7 tips for new or beginner backpackers or hikers. This is a new series I told you I'm excited about. I call Backpacker 101. I also like to say it's things I wish I knew when I was starting. So as I mentioned in part 1, my experience, I'm almost 60 in a couple of months. I started when I was 53, so I'm on my 7th year. And I made every mistake in the book. So hopefully with I can share my mistakes and my experience. I have also attempted hiking the 2,653 miles of the Pacific Crest Trail in 2019 that spans from Mexico all the way up to Canada, through California, Oregon, and Washington. I got hurt after a little over 900 miles, and I've been going back every year since to try to finish it in large sections. So please consider subscribing and liking and hitting the notification bell so you can be notified every time I post a video. For more in this series, I'm also going to be making a video soon explaining the large section I'm doing on the PCT this year, a little later in the summer. So if you want to watch that and see that, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. So let's get on with it. What is number 1? Number 1 is do not wear cotton when hiking and backpacking. Just don't do it. Why, you ask? Well, I can answer that. It is probably the worst material to wear when you're hiking and backpacking, because when you sweat, maybe it rains, gets you wet, it does not wick away fast whatsoever. It stays on your body and does not wick away. It also doesn't battle odor, things like that. So I can give you an example. I wear almost all synthetic. This is a synthetic, like, athletic shirt. My sun hoodie that's long sleeve and covers my head is synthetic. My jacket's synthetic, and of course my rain jacket's synthetic. But that's what I wear. If you're doing base layers that are not your everyday thing you wear, but maybe you're wearing them on cold days or when you sleep, get merino wool. Then make it where it's not itchy anymore. It's thin. Make very high quality stuff nowadays. It's not cheap, but it does 2 things. Synthetic and wool wicks away sweat or moisture. It also, not as much synthetic, but wool will kind of reduce the odors and fight odors to a certain point. So it just does it naturally. So just, no cotton. All right, number 2 is when you're a new backpacker and you're just getting going and learning the ropes and learning how to do everything, and usually you're doing 2, 3, 4 day, like, weekend kind of backpacking trips. Pick routes and hikes and trips that you can do. Even if you're young and athletic, don't pick something that's super extreme when you're not experienced. So pick routes and lengths, like the distances each day and the amount of elevation or climb and the roughness, and especially if you're dealing with weather of any kind, hot or cold, that you can do easily. You want to wean yourself into it. You want to go extreme. And I'll give an example, because I'm telling this because I did the opposite. I was a day hiker, I was kind of new at day hiking. Went on a beginner backpacking trip, just a couple miles out, camped, came back, fell in love. Didn't know anything, didn't own anything, and was quite horrible at it. What did I do? I went from 0 to 100. I joined a meetup group. It was a PCT section hiking group. And my very first backpacking trip, not official one, but like overnight, I did 18 miles with a full backpack. And mind you, my backpack was a bunch of borrowed stuff. I had a lady's backpack, and I'm 6'3" and 240. To say that it was painful and didn't fit me is an understatement, but I didn't know what to bring. I just brought like tons of clothes. I was going on an overnighter, and you might have thought I was going out for a week. And not only was the pack super heavy, but I was not in hiking shape. I had no idea what I was getting into. I did 18 miles and honestly thought the next couple of days that rigor mortis had set in. I was so stiff, and I was in the corporate world then. I was like trying to sit down on my chair at my desk, and then I couldn't get up out of it. And it would be days and days of this before, my body would kind of feel better. So wean yourself into it. Be reasonable. Pick trips too when you're new. Pick trips that have a water source so you can learn how to use your water filter. All the things that you're going to need to know on trail, just do that. How to put up and set down your tent, how to use your cook kit, you know, all that stuff. When you start getting new stuff, you really don't know if you're going to like it or if it works till you use it. So, you know, just slowly educate yourself and pick trips that are doable, comfortable, that won't possibly injure you or stress you out over it. All right, so number 3 is kind of on the note for number 2, but know your route. What does this mean? It means there's people that end up getting lost and dying out in nature, and sometimes a mile from a road or something, because they don't plan it. They just go, I'm going out there, you know. Before you know it, you'd make a wrong turn or whatever, and you don't know where you are. So don't ever risk that. Like, study your hike. If it's just going to be an overnight or a quick one, study it. I recommend getting some GPS apps. The one I use for just, not for the PCT, for other areas, is called Gaia. It's spelled G-A-I-A. There's a free version and a couple of versions of paid. You get more stuff with the paid. But literally anywhere, I don't know about the world, but in the US where I am, you can actually lay out your map, and you don't need service. It talks to satellites, but you can lay out your map ahead of time, your route, and then it'll actually, like GPS, it'll show a little chevron like you would with Google Maps. It'll show you where you are. So if you turn off the trail and you already have your route pre-planned on there, you'll know, oh shoot, I should have turned left back there. I didn't see that. So it'll maybe save your life. So get an app of some kind. Also, you can use maps and a compass, of course. People are using that less and less, but that's definitely a way to work. But don't leave that to chance. All right, number 4 is, when you're getting ready for a trip, pack when you're relaxed and not rushed or hurried. Super, super important. I would suggest being detail oriented, because if you do rush, you're going to forget things, and it could be a monumental mistake out there in the remote backcountry if you do this. So I'll give you an example of how I do this. This is my anal retentive way of making sure I never forget what I need. And remember, my gear choices change depending on the trail I'm doing, the weather, the time of year, all that. So how I do it is I have one spiral binder that has all my gear list for every trip, so I can reflect back on them later on if I'm kind of forgetting on maybe I'm forgetting something. I'll look back at similar trips, like if I go to the Sierras before, I'll use those again and kind of look at it. And there's times where I get new gear, so it's not on the old list, but I'll use a list like that. So this is how I do it. I'll get a new page or fresh page in my binder, and I write upper left, like I'll write the trip, the date, where I'm going, things like that, so I know later on I'll remember. And on the left at the top, I put gear in the line, and I put all my gear. On the upper right, I put clothing, and I'll start listing down the gear on the left and clothing on the right. And then about halfway down, I put assorted. It just means all the odds and ends stuff that's not gear and not clothing. So what I do is, after I list all my gear, all my clothing, unsorted might be like my extra battery to charge my phone with, and my tripod that I use to vlog with, that will do walk-bys. I set up my camera walk-by, all that odds and ends stuff. I have a water filter bag with all the odds and end parts for that. I have a ground sheet for my tent, things like that. Those all are on the assorted at the bottom. So once I have everything, and I'll start way early, like weeks early, and every once in a while I'll just be driving or something, I'll have it in the car. I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot to put this on there, and I'll write it down. And so by the end, between looking at the list I've had before and what I'm remembering that I want to bring for this particular trip, I know my list is good. So what I do is, I don't leave it that. I have my list when I start packing. So when you pack, what I do is, sometimes if I'm driving a long way, it's like 6 or 8 hours to the Sierras, I don't pack it in my pack. I have a big duffel bag. So what I do is, I have a highlighter. So I set my list down in my highlighter, and as I pull a piece of gear and throw it in the duffel bag, I highlight that item. And for me, that visually shows what I'm missing, because everything's highlighted. Oh shoot, I'm missing this. So, you know, charge cords to charge your phone, those kind of things, earbuds. And then once you have everything highlighted, you know you have it. So whether I pack it at home, or let's say in the scenario I gave you in the Sierras, one of the things I don't like to do is compress my quilt, which is like a sleeping bag, way ahead of time. So I'll keep it in the big overstuffed bag, and then I don't want to put it in my pack till the last minute. So when I say I pack up my pack in the car right before I take off on a weekend trip, I have that list that's all highlighted. I take a pen and now I circle So let's say it's my backpack. It's been written down, it's been highlighted, now I circle it. So once again, it's visual. And as I'm circling things, as I'm packing my pack, if there's something not circled, I know I'm missing it. So that's how I do it. I hope that helps, but I mean, I don't know that the only way I'll ever forget something if it was never put on the list in the first place. But yeah, just maybe you can use that system. It helps me, and I want to be in the backcountry and just relax. I don't want to go, oh shoot, I forgot this, or did I bring everything, all that. I know I have a peace of mind when I get on a trail. I have everything I need. All right, number 5 is poop. That's right, I said it, poop. You're saying right now, what about poop, Marmalade? Well, that's all I got. No, actually, I'm kidding, but yeah, poop. You know, when you're in the remote backcountry, you gotta go sometimes. Sometimes you gotta go. And if I'm being honest, I've been doing it off and on for 5 or 6 years now, and I still hate it, if I'm being honest. I don't think anybody loves it, but if you've never done it, you need to know how to do it properly, to follow the leave no trace principles. What I would suggest is just go on YouTube and watch some videos. I plan on maybe making one about that, about how to properly do it. But go on there and just look at some videos. And then if you go to I know if you go to anywhere online, just type in leave no trace. That'll give you the principles. I think there's 7 principles, but among some other things you can learn, but how to properly dig the right kind of hole, how to carry your toilet paper out, all that kind of stuff. So just, I don't know, if you're really hardcore about it, go in your backyard and practice. What the heck. All right, number 6 is sleeping in your tent in the wilderness. A lot of people worry about it. A lot of people sleep very poorly, and I've never really talked about it a lot, but I sleep pretty poorly in my tent in the wilderness. If I'm really snockered and tired, I sleep pretty well. But my problem is 2 things. I'm a side sleeper. Every about an hour, I need to flip over to the other side. So, and I'm dealing with my air mattress right now going low every hour. So it kind of turns out okay. I flip over, I put about 3 breaths of air in my air mattress and it's good to go. And then it's almost like a timing thing. But yeah, I don't sleep through the night because of that. The other reason that keeps me up, that adds to those wake ups, is as I'm getting older, I'm almost 60, I have to pee more often. I have an Nalgene, it's called the Canteen. It's a roll-up plastic, basically water bag. It's for water, but I use it to pee in, so I don't have to get out of my tent. Because I'm a light sleeper, if I were to get out of my tent and pee 2 to 5 times a night, the cold and just physically getting up would wake me up and take me forever to fall asleep. So I can stay in my warm quilt, and I just have to assure that I put the lid back on the pee bottle when I'm done with it. Very important. But yeah, so for rest and recovery, it's important to figure out your pee system when I'm talking about too, but also rest and recovery when you're backpacking is very, very important. How do you enjoy it and feel good if you're a wreck when you wake up? So having the proper air mattress, a warm enough quilt or sleeping bag, the right kind of tent, the right kind of air pillow, those kind of things really matter. You know, you want to work on getting lighter as you from being a beginner. You know, a lot of times you just bring whatever you have. That's what I did. Everything I had was heavy and big, but I didn't know what I wanted or needed until I got more experience. So it comes with time. But if you are carrying more weight, it's okay to carry some weight in the sleep system. You know, when it comes to the tent, the air pillow, the air mattress, and your quilt or sleeping bag. So be comfortable and sleep well. All right, the 7th and final one of part 2 of this series is your diet. You don't have to eat sticks and leaves and pine cones or eat dried out, dehydrated meals that are really overpriced to eat well on trail. What I would suggest is to watch a lot of YouTube videos. I make videos on diets and things and recipes I've made, I found out to make on trail. You can go on, I do it all the time. I'll go look, I get in a little mood, I'll start watching people, what they bring backpacking, what they eat. Because I've backpacked so much, there's things I can't eat anymore. Like I can't eat another Cliff Bar. And there's certain things I just can't eat. So I've tried to look for new things. So that's how you could do it. And practice at home. I mean, you could even, A lot of people that backpack a lot invest in a dehydrator. And dehydrate, make some meals and dehydrate them yourself. You can make spaghetti and dehydrate it and then rehydrate it. It'll taste just like home. So yeah, think about that. All right, guys, that's it for both these parts. And starting this new series called Backpacker 101. I hope it's helped you. Like I said in part 1, give me some more ideas, some things that as a new or beginner backpacker or hiker you're concerned with, you're worried about, you don't know how to do. That there's a lot of things that I know that I take for granted that I even don't know I know until I use them. So let me know if you have some ideas also for different videos, some other topics for a new or beginner backpack. Let me know. Going down some rocks here, and right there. And yeah, just leave them down below. Don't forget, if you don't mind, please subscribe, like, hit the notification bell to be notified every time I have a new video. It's all free. It really helps me out. The channel's been growing pretty good now, so let's keep it going. If you'd like to support my channel, I'll be getting back on the PCT soon, and every dollar helps. There's ways to do that down below in the description box. And I think that's it. Look for some more videos on this subject pretty soon. I've got plans for lots of stuff for new and beginner backpackers. Thanks for checking in with me. We'll see you next time. Marmalade's out.